Section 8.2, Math 96. When two straight lines intersect, they normally intersect at one point. When we ask you to find point of intersections, we normally ask for you to solve this system. Solve this system means find point of intersections. So two lines, they intersect at one point. This point is solution of the system. Again, the system means you have set of two equations or pair of equations. Two lines may never intersect. This is in case you have parallel line. In this case, there is no solution because they would not intersect. Or you might have two lines which coincide and they are the same lines. So if two lines coincide or touch, or one is like this, the other one is almost identical, then there are many solutions. So you could say it this way, two lines would touch at one point. So there is point of intersection or one solution. They may not intersect at all, which is two parallel lines. So in that case, no solutions. Or both lines are the same lines, so they touch at many, many points. So in this case, it's many solutions or infinite solutions because they touch at so many points since they're the same line. First, we want to talk how to solve the system and find the solution by method of substitution. There are three methods to find this point. One is method of graphing, means you graph each line and then you read coordinates of points. The second method, they call it method of substitutions and method of eliminations. So there are three methods to find point of intersection, if there is any. So first, we want to discuss about method of substitutions. For that, the very first homework problem, section 0.2, is they ask us to solve a system by method of substitutions. Here also the second one, method of substitution, and so on. So the first 3 or 4 problems are dealing with method of substitution. So here we learn how to use method of substitution to find a system. So the first one is y equal 6 minus 5x, 6x plus y equal to 9. Now, before I go over these problems, let's look at the examples. Let's say you have this equation, 6x plus y is equal to 9, and I'm telling you y equal to 3, find the x. How would you solve these problems? If I give you the value of y, which is 3, how do you find the x? So what you do is you just take these 3 and you substitute for the y. So then you say 6x plus 3 equal to 9, and you solve this equation for x. So whatever the value of x is, whether x is a number or is expression, you always take it and substitute here. So in these problems, whatever the value of y is, you take that and you substitute for the y here on this bottom equations. So now I have 6x plus 6 minus 5x equal to 9. So x is 3. Now, anytime you solve the system, remember the point of intersections point of intersection has X and Y value. It always has X and Y value, point of intersections. So when you find the X, you need to also find the Y value. So I take these 3 and substitute here. So Y is 6 minus 5 times 3, and that gives you -9. So the point of intersections is 3 and -9. The second problem is also method of substitutions. The second problems in this note, they ask us to use the method of substitution for this one too. So it's 4x plus y 21. Since I want to find y in terms of x, in this on the top equations, I move 4x to the right side. So then I have y is equal minus 4x plus 21. So what you do is you move 4x to the other side, so that would switch the sign from positive to negative. Then you have y written in terms of x. Now, doing that, remember in the top problems how I took the y value and substitute? We do the same thing. You take this y, and remember you substitute for the y, not minus 4y, just for the y. So in that case, I write the 7x, you write the minus 4, and then you open a parentheses, because if you want to substitute y is minus 4x, we have to bring it with the parentheses. Very important, because you don't want, if you don't use the parentheses, then you make mistake when you're multiplying, especially with the sign. Equal to 8. And then I distribute -4 into these parentheses. And we find the x. Again, remember, when you find the x, you need to also find the y value. So we take this x equal 4 and put into those equations. So y is 5. So the point of intersection is 4, comma, and 5. So next is the next problems. They ask us to also use method of substitution. So again, remember, we move minus 7x to the other side for that one. So problem number 3. Then I take this y And again, substitute by here. So now 13 has to multiply by 7x plus 42. Make sure you put a parenthesis around it. So it would be 4x plus 13 times 7x plus 42 is equal to 71. So I distribute 13. And then we substitute -5 here into that equations. So we have x and y, and that's point of intersections. So you have a copy of this page on the lecture notes. So you don't have to write it down because you already have it. So the best thing is for you to print a copy of the lecture notes and you could write your own notes on it. Okay, so that's page number 2. Problem number 4 also is method of substitutions. In this one, you already have the value of 1 in terms of x. So you take that and you substitute here for the y. Now, here, x cancel. Then you come up with identity that doesn't have x in it. And it said -7 is equal to -3. That's not true. These two numbers are not equal. So that means there is no solution for this one. This is in case probably you have 2 parallel lines. So if 2 lines do not intersect, when you want to solve the system by any method, you don't come up with any answer. You just come up with something strange. Number 5 also now is dealing with a new method. So we talk about substitutions. Now we want to talk elimination method. Solved by elimination method. Now, how does elimination method works? So before I work on number 5, when you have let's say you have -4x plus 4x. If you have 2 equal number and variable with the opposite sign, you always cancel. There is nothing left, 0. Let's say you have 8x and -8x. Nothing. if they have in the vertical, let's say you have 5x and under that you have minus 5x. What's the outcome of this? 0, okay? This is method of elimination, means when I have problem like this, on the right side, I have 17 and 1. 17 plus 1 is 18. What do I have on the left? X and negative x cancel, plus 5y plus 4y is 9y. And then you divide both sides by 9. So y is equal to 2. When you find the y value, then you take this y and substitute in one of these two equations. It doesn't matter which one. Either one give you a correct answers. Let's say I put it here. So it would be x plus 5y equals 17. Now, since I have the value of y, which is 2, it gives you the value of x, which is 7. So the point of intersection is 7, 2. This is method of eliminations. See, they both are identical with the opposite sign, so you could cancel that. Number 6 also is a method of eliminations. Now, if you decide to eliminate x, if you want to eliminate x, then you should have minus 4x here. If you have minus 4x here, then you could eliminate minus 4. So if I have to multiply the top one by negative 4, because if I multiply the top one by negative 4, then negative 4 times x is negative 4x, and 4x cancel. So what you do is you multiply the top numbers by negative 4. Now, but when you distribute, remember, you should multiply by every term, even the one that you have on the right side. So don't forget that. You bring a minus 4 and distribute and multiply by all 3 of them, not just by these 2. It's like if I have here 3 plus 6 is equal to 9. If you multiply by 7, that would be 7 times 3 plus 7 times 6, which is what? With 21 plus 42 is 53. You can have 53 on this side, and 63 on this side, and 9 on that side. So that means 7 has to also multiply by that side too. Anytime you multiply a whole system by a number, you should take that and distribute and multiply by every numbers or terms. Okay, so here would be minus 4x plus 16y is equal minus 112. And I have 4x plus 4y is 12. And again, these two cancel. I have 20y equal 100 and y equal minus 5. And then again, as usual, you take that one and maybe just put it here to find your other value. So x plus 20 is 28, or x equal 8. So it's 8 and negative 5. But when you want to work on a problem like this, also you got to pay attention that you could also do it this way, or before you actually do any multiplication, look to see what you have here. Look, the second equation is 4x, 4y. All these numbers are divisible by 4. So why don't I just simplify that instead of using 4x plus 4y? So here, 4x plus 4y equal 12. They all are divisible by 4. So I have the second equation, in fact, is x plus y is 3. See, then it's easier to deal with this one. Then all I need to do is, both are x. I have to make one of these two negative, right? So let's say I multiply the second one by -1. Then I have x minus 4y is 28, minus x minus y is -3. And then that gives you minus 5y equal 25, and y equal -3. I'm sorry, -5. So then if I substitute that in the other equations, then y is 8. So sometimes it's better, before you actually do the multiplications, look to see if you could divide or you could simplify before you actually do the problems, okay? Number 7, I can tell that this will cancel, okay? First number is always x, and the second number is always y. You work on number 8. Again, eliminations. You don't always have to cancel x. You could also cancel y. Like here, you see how I have minus 8y? If I switch this 4y to positive 8y, then I can cancel this. Okay? So what if I multiply the top one by 2? Then I have 10x, 8y, 38. X is 51 over 11. See, now you're dealing with fractions. So now method of substitution is not that easy because you need to substitute fractions for x. To find a y value. Okay, common denominator. So now we get it, divide both sides by -8. In division, when you switch to multiplication, you get a reverse the fractions. Both are divisible by 4. So you see, the second part is more difficult than the first part. Means this is a problem that you do elimination first, and then you do the substitution to find the second variable. But there is another method to do this part instead of going through all these calculations. What it is, how in the beginning we decide to eliminate y? Now what you need to do is, you look at the original problems. Now instead of eliminating y, why don't you eliminate x this time? Then it's easier. This is in case you're dealing with fractions. So I have so now I multiply the second part by -5. See, it's easier to find the y value if you do a method of elimination one more time in these problems. So you don't have to go through substitution method. Number 9, another eliminations. Instead of X and Y, we are using S and R. Now, this is a case that you interchange. You need to make these two terms equal and opposite, right? So you see here, I put a 9 here and 2 here. So you just multiply the first one by 9 and the second one by -2. Or you could multiply the top one by -9 and positive by and the bottom one by +2. So see what happened is when you multiply, they both are 18R and minus 18R. That's what you need to do. So you come up with two variables that are equal and opposite. That's the goal. So now, of course, I have to distribute this and the second one. And then when you find the R, you do the substitutions. And the last problems, number 10. Now he said solve using appropriate method, whatever method is easier to do. So if you don't specify, you could use any method, eliminations, substitution, or graphing. Well, graphing is not an easy one to use. Elimination is the best one. But before I actually work on these problems, again, I noticed that I have, let me write it first. Both equations I can simplify before I actually do. See, the top one, they all are divisible by 2. So I have 7. (7a minus b equal to 2), and they all are divisible by 3. So is a minus 3b equal to 1? See, you could deal with the equation which is easier to handle. By the way, this is number 11. I'm sorry, I skipped one. So I'll go back and do that 10 again. So this is number 11. Right after this, I do number 10. All right, so now, what if I multiply this one by -7? So then I have 7a minus b is 2 minus 7a plus 21b is equal to -7. Then b is minus 1/4 1/4 is not that hard to do the substitutions. So here, a minus 3b, I put a minus 3 times 1/4 equal to 1. So it would be a minus 3/4 is 1, or a is 1 plus 3/4, or 4/4 plus 3/4 is a 3. Because this is there was a negative, so this is positive. So a is 1/4. Okay. So you have a and b, 1/4 and minus 1/4. Okay, now we go to number 10. Solve the system eliminations. So again, you see they all are divisible by 2 and 5. They all are divisible by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2, 20 divided by 5 is 4, 25. Now, multiply negative 2 to eliminate x. Same situation, 0 is equal to 1. That's not possible. There is no solution. There is no solutions. Okay? All right. End of section 8.2.